The Maneater, which is the student-run newspaper here on Mizzou's campus, announced that it will cease publication of its print edition later this spring. And there have been a lot of people, many of them alumni from our own program in decades past, who are very upset about this decision. They see it as a sign that the journalism is somehow not as good if it's not on printed paper. I, for one, I want to applaud the students for making what seems to be a sound business decision. And this kind of goes back to one of the things we talked about last week about millennials and Gen Z paying for news in different outlets than might be traditional. They recognize their audience is 18 to 24, and their audience isn't picking up that print edition that's all over campus. There are a lot of money, a lot of resources, paper, ink that goes into that, redirected into the journalism.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, this is an issue that continues to face student journalists, especially on college campuses. I mean, many college campuses have converted to digital only and did it years ago. Right now, I have a guest here at the J School, Gabriel Tate, who is
we're waving to him.
We're waving to him as we talk now. He's at Ball State. They have a 100-year-old newspaper that has been publishing for that long. They also have a digital operation. They're in discussions about whether or not they need to continue the the print operation as things shift more digital. Again, like you said, we talked about this last week. Not just the generation that's in college now, but the generations that have graduated have already switched to digital.
Well, in a lot of the places where they're working. I'm even thinking about the generation of students that comes up after this group. They're going to be even less inclined to pick up a print edition. One of the other thoughts I had is the Maneater does tremendous multimedia work, and you can't play video or you can't play video or audio on a piece of paper.
Yeah, I think Anna Coletto, and full disclosure, the editor-in-chief of the Maneater, is taking a class from me, but she did a really good job explaining the reasons behind the decision and the painfulness of it, because even for this generation of students, there's a real romance to the ink on paper, the late-night press nights. But I think the students did a really good job of not letting nostalgia stand in the way of journalism, and I think the point you made, Amy, is really important. First of all, we're able to tell stories in many different ways, and the digital platform showcases that. The second thing is the money needs to go into the journalism, not into the paper, not into the ink, not into the superstructure that you have to have for delivery. And when we know, particularly, now for the Missourian, it's different. We still have an audience that takes that paper in paper, and the ads pay for that. But I think gradually you're going to see even established legacy news organizations, and we already are, moving more and more in this direction.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that it also sort of frees up the Maneater to be able to go out and promote in those digital spaces, to be able to say, hey, if you want to get the latest news and information about what's going on campus.
And it will enable them to attract talent.
Absolutely.
That wants to do that kind of work.
And present it in so many different ways.
Right, and you raise a good point. The Maneater today, I think when I was a college student here in the very late 90s, the Maneater was a twice-a-week print publication. Right. Today it's down, I believe, to once a month.
Right.
And so by moving fully digital, they can keep those websites, those apps updated on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, and continue to be reporting there. I will say I also exchanged a series of Instagram direct messages with Anna over the weekend because she saw an Instagram story I had posted trying to talk down some of either past students or past classmates and be like, whoa, think about this for a second. Isn't this exactly what's happening in your newsrooms? Why wouldn't they have these conversations? And she's excited. she is, as you say, talking about the nostalgia, but appreciating the support she's getting from those who see the need for this from a business standpoint.
We are at the University of Missouri, we're all about preparing students for their future jobs, and their future jobs are not going to be putting ink on paper in most cases. I think there's a place for print, but it's a far smaller place than it used to be.